Today we are going to be talking to an ex-industry translator. For the sake of this piece of content, we're going to call her Natasha so that we don't have to give her a real name. But I'm going to let her kind of tell where she comes from and how long she's been in the industry, and we'll go from there. And what we're going to do today is we're going to take you through probably one of the biggest online marriage agency, international dating agencies that there is out there. We're going to actually show you what really happens when these girls are translating for the women on the sites. How that works, who you're actually talking to is not who you really think that you're talking to. So with that, I'd like to introduce Natasha.
So hello, my name is Natasha, and I work in this industry. I was working in this industry nearly for 5 years. And right now I'd like to show you how we live chats working.
Okay, so the front end of this site is much different than what the girls who are doing the translation see. There's the front end site where you search, where you're doing the chat as the men on the site, and then there's a completely different site for the Ukrainian women here that see kind of the back end, how they're chatting. So what most men, very, 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 very few men really know is that these men that are chatting with these women supposedly online are actually speaking with translators, right? So can you talk a little bit about how you got started, like with this specific company, or how the process actually works with who you're working with when you're translating for these women?
So when this company doesn't have their own database of ladies, that's why they are looking for the agencies who would like to work with them. And after that, the local agencies share their girls with this agency. And after that, we got two opportunities to communicate with men. It's like chat or letter writing.
Right, like we can see here, over here on the left.
Yes.
This is how, when you're working for this company as a translator, you'll log in and do live chatting here,
I'm
right?
logging at the girl, and I'm getting into live chat. And after that, I try to get as many clients as I can and start talking to them.
So everybody that's watching this video here is dying to know. So they believe that they are chatting with some beautiful, gorgeous Ukrainian girl. Is that the truth?
Not always. I will explain why. So if the webcam is turned off, it's for sure that you're chatting only with translator. If the webcam is working, there are two variants. Like first one, it is a real girl, but it's very, very rare. And the second one, yes, it's a girl, but she's paying by the agency to come and to sit over the webcam.
Okay, so we're saying that there's two ways that it works. It's either live chat where there's no video involved, and so you're almost certainly have no interaction, no chat with the girl that you think that you're talking to, right? None. So there's no correspondence with the translator. She's not going to this girl and asking her what the man says. What would you like to say back to him?
No, because there is no use in doing that. You only will lose the time while you will try to reach the girl. So it's better to write letters by yourself.
Right, because basically that's costing you money. So right now, what is this that we're seeing pop up on the right-hand side of the screen?
It's the man who would like to talk with you right now. Because right now he's looking over your profile.
When you say your profile, who is that? What does that mean? Whose profile?
The girl's profile.
Okay.
He's looking at the girl's profile.
The girl's profile that we are currently logged in under.
Yes.
He is looking at this girl's profile. He wants to chat with you, but you are not this girl.
He was going to chat with the girl, but he's going to chat with me.
So you would go over here and you would just click here, and that would open a chat window.
Yes.
And then you would begin chatting with Rex, who's a 56-year-old man from the USA. and but you're not her,
You're right.
right?
Right.
So, explain a little bit more. If you're not doing the live chatting, that's obviously not talking to the girl at all. So there's also video chat that's done a lot. So how does that work? So you are representing yourself as that girl if you're doing video chat?
It's a video chat. You need to invite the girl to that video chat.
Mm-hmm.
But the same, girls can work as translators in that agency. The girl can be paid for doing that. And it's only a small percent of real girls who are really ready to come after their job and to sit over the camera and to speak with you.
Mm-hmm. And okay, so what you're saying is almost entirely the girls that are willing to do the video chatting are really only the ones that are agency employees.
Yes.
And that are doing this only as a job.
Yes.
Because they really don't care about meeting someone at all. They're just an employee of some agency, and not even the big agency. They're really just an employee of a smaller agency that posts their profiles on the big, what we would call probably the big three or the big four companies that are in this business.
Yeah, you're right. But no, they can be interested in meeting that male because again, they will share money with translator. For translation services, she will get presents, free lunch.
Right.
So,
Okay, so maybe I didn't speak correctly. She may be interested in meeting this man, but she really has no desire to be with him or move to the Western world to start a family or to get married.
Yes, right now you're right.
Okay. So, can you show us a little bit, like as far as in the site, can we click through here and kind of see what you would be looking at if you were actually
Yes,
working?
so we are clicking active chat. Someone that speak with us right now, but he disappears. So we're clicking the chat.
Yeah, so Rex doesn't want to talk with us anymore, but we could have talked to Rex. So, can you also tell us about in this business, as a translator, how are you motivated? Why do you do this, and how are you compensated as a translator? Is it? Can you talk to men, multiple men?
Yes, multiple men are always better than one. So sometimes
Even at the
you
same
can,
time?
Yes, sometimes you can talk like for 5, 6.
5, 6. So you could be talking to 5 or 6 men
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yes. And it's like only for one profile. You can log in into 2 or 3 profiles. Send communication there.
So something that I thought was very, very interesting that I learned from you is that when you're working as a translator in an agency, you have a certain amount of girls that you're almost assigned to, right?
Right.
You may have, 10 girls that you have to know intimately, their stories, what that looks like, what their lives are like, how to correspond back and forth with these men, right?
Right. We nearly 10 girls, but sometimes it depends on translator. So if she's lazy, she can be only with 2 or 3 girls.
Okay.
And everything depends on how much money you would like to have.
Uh-huh.
Because more girls bring more money to you.
Right. So again, this system is based on how many men you can chat with, right?
As many as you wish.
As many as you wish.
Yeah.
But how translators in this business with these agencies are compensated based on a system of volume,
Yes.
right? How long they can chat with these guys.
Yes, it
How
depends on the
many letters
how
they send back and forth.
Yes. And for example, on this website, translator receives money only when the client open letter from the lady.
Okay.
All in such way.
So you can also say that these agencies are training their translators specifically on tactics, on what they should say that's going to get them the highest probability.
Yes, what photo you should put, what the subject of the letter should be that the man would like to open it and to spend money on that. So yes, because in my work I've met, 1 or 2 ladies who know how to write letters. So, and majority of girls, they do not write at all. So, and men can send 1,000 words and the lady can respond him with 1 or 2 sentences. and you won't receive money for that. So
Mhm.
for you, it's much better to write letters from yourself.
Mhm.
Because it's your salary.
So we're seeing all of these guys, like 45 contacts here on the left, right?
Yeah, but there are more. They show it on like 45, and each time they change it.
They changed. So who are these guys? Are these guys that you're supposed to be trying
But I
to
can, yes, I can.
chatting with? So you can get on there, pick this guy,
Yes.
pick Alfonso, and click him and say hello. How are you doing?
Yes. Here we can see Alfonso.
Okay.
And
So you just say hello, and that's like your introduction.
so it's like typical web introduction.
Mm-hmm. Because
Just
also the first one is free,
just
right?
everyone uses such sentences, and not a lot of men will respond because all the same.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the ones that use something very generic, so they know that most men are not going to probably respond to
Yeah, and
something
also
like
it
that.
depends on the photo and on the age of the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Because if she will be like 20 years old, blonde hair, men will invite her to the chat and not she. So and
Mm-hmm.
this lady is older. I don't know if she's going to be happy today to meet someone over the chat.
Right. Okay. So, what other? So this is chat. I mean, this isn't necessarily considered letter writing. So this isn't what you're looking at as like the $4 to $7 per letter. That's more of like an email system, right? So how does this work with chatting? How are the translators paid? How do the men pay for this? Is this like by the minute or hourly, or how does that work?
He needs to buy credits for that, and after that he can use his credits. But they all time they change their system, so they can give you like 5 free minutes to chat with a girl, and after that to take them away. So it says that the guy was busy and he's out.
Okay. So, do you think that? So do these companies? I mean, they know that there's nothing but translators talking to these men, right?
Right, but like they try to hide it. But of course they understand it.
Right, because they know that there's absolutely no possible way that these women are going to be able to chat with
Yes.
these women. And they also know that based on the way that they pay the agencies for the popular girls for the letter writing, I mean, there are big incentives to have popular girls on there because they know that those are going to be the girls that are going to produce the most letter writing.
Yes.
Right. So
Right.
it's all volume based. It's all based on the number of letters that are written back and forth. Compensate how many video chats, how much chatting goes on, right?
Yeah, and you got your salary after all of that.
Mm-hmm. So it's almost like a sales job in a way.
Yeah.
You're really, I mean, you're paid based
you're
on
selling
productivity.
Like a product, yes.
You're selling a product. Not really how you would think a matchmaking service should work,
So
or trying to connect people, but.
So and right.
So what happens once you start corresponding with a specific guy regularly? If you finally get him on chat, he says hello, he wants to chat with you, then what happens?
You start chatting with him, that is all.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing special, it's like daily work, okay, so we have a correspondence, okay, I'm getting money from that, he's in chat, okay, so no, it's not personal.
Mm-hmm. But
Just a job.
so just like as far as a guy though starts chatting with a girl, seems like he's liking this girl, things are going well. Do they continue to chat, or do they start writing letters, or do they keep things mostly on a chat basis, or?
It depends on the man.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what he prefers.
Mm-hmm.
To chat or to write letters.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, chat can win more money because the man, he simply just can write your letters back and never open your letters.
Mm-hmm. So at that point, so I mean, let's say we have all of these translators, which are pretty much doing what 99.99% of all the communications with these Western men that have the idea, or they honestly believe that they're speaking with these women, right?
Yes, all of them believe in that.
So what happens when a guy's been talking to a woman for several months, and then he says, well, finally, I'm actually going to take that next step, that big leap of faith, and say that I want to see you, and I want to come to Ukraine.
Okay, and right now everything depends on the girl. If she's ready to meet, the meeting is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And their agency will give lady like instruction.
Mm-hmm.
The agency will tell her about the correspondence, about what kind of person will come, show the photos, because no one will go to look surprised when she saw that man.
Mm-hmm.
I said the man saw that they were corresponding or talking like for, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, and the girl will see him for the first.
So they really want to ensure, and we're talking about the small agency. We're not talking about the big agency that works with her directly.
It's similar.
Yeah.
Similar.
Okay.
It's them with a small or big agency.
But I mean, isn't it true that most of the girls on the really big, like the big 3 sites, are only cooperating on the small ones that give them their girls, that submit the girls to the big agencies?
There's like the 3 biggest websites, international dating websites. They do not have their own database of girls. That is why they start working with the agencies that have their database of girls, and they share. Like this website gave him database of men, and the local agency bring them girls. So they cooperate in such way.
Okay, gotcha. So is it true too? I heard from somebody else that has worked directly with probably the biggest company in the agency. They have very, very strict guidelines that a woman has to agree to be on their database. They're not allowed to be on any other dating sites. But the thing is that so they also have an agreement that says that if they refuse to meet with a man, once they've been corresponding with him, which they have never been corresponding with him because it's actually a translator, they have to pay a penalty. The agency pays a penalty. Is that true?
Yes, that's true, but it doesn't work every time, because it only will work in that if the client, the man, will come to that agency and to the website and says that I want to meet lady, and she didn't come. And in such situations, the agency always try to show other girls just to keep men interested all the time.
So they know that, as a smaller agency, they know that if this guy starts saying that he wants to come, it's potentially going to create problems, because it's pretty likely that the real woman is not going to want to meet him anyway.
Yes.
And then it's also going to cost the agency money, because if she refuses, then Anastasia is going to penalize that agency and give them a big penalty for refusing meetings and things like that, right?
Yes, but if you will find out really there some crazy reasons why she wouldn't be able to come to meet you, you can avoid that penalty.
Really?
Yes, so everything just depends on the fantasy.
Yeah. So basically, to keep these guys writing letters, it's in the translators and the smaller agencies' best interest to make sure that these meetings never happen, because they create some fantasy, some big conflict or argument.
Like for small agencies, yes, because they have a very small database of girls, like only 1 or 2 translators, or basically it's like even 1 translator is the same time as the director and the client.
Okay. Gotcha. So in many cases, and it's not even the girls that are creating these conflicts; it's the translators.
Yes.
So they'll almost sabotage the communication intentionally to keep this guy from either coming here or having any chance of connecting with this woman, right?
Right.
And then it all repeats and repeats over and over and over, because many people, and what we've discovered, so much of this business is driven by letter writing, because so few men actually ever come to Ukraine to meet somebody, and all of the money is made, and all of the agencies are incentivized to just continue to write letters, right?
Right, just to bring really money. And if like a man can came, he will pay like for introduction only, and if he knows Russian, there is no to use translator and
Mhm.
so on.
Right.
So it's much
And-
better if he will never come.
Yeah, and again, I mean, we've seen like $50 introduction fees, which is a couple letters. I mean, a man will spend that in a couple letters anyway. So, plus having to deal with a guy coming here and having a person come to meet him and introduce him. So again, it doesn't seem like that, in the grand scheme of just purely for them to make money, it's not nearly as profitable as it is for just to write letters.
Yes, writing letters and chats are profitable.
Yep. So, moral of the story is, it's not what you think it is. Most likely, if you're writing letters right now, there is a slim to none chance that you're even possibly communicating with who you think you're communicating with. So, there is a better way. There are other ways to do this. It is possible. But just want to inform everyone out there about what's really going on with letter writing. So, is there anything else in the site that you'd like to show us, or
Also can
That's interesting.
show, yes, in what way the letter writing by itself. It's
oh yeah, outside of the
Working.
chat, how does the
Yeah.
actual the letters work? You can
So
probably
first
just
I
close
had-
that.
Yeah. So first I need to find a man.
So do you think that do you know what most men are they primarily writing letters, or are they mostly chatting, or
Oh, really, I'm not able to say.
yeah?
This different depending on the person. Someone likes to write letters, someone likes to chat.
Mhm.
So here you can see in what way you can find them in. Like each,
Okay.
it's good like.
So this is on the women's side. So they have search functionality to search based on finding a man. So this will pull up anybody from 45 to 65 years old.
And after that you choose this one.
So this kind of shows his profile, all the details that he has. And so
Yes.
now what you would do as a translator, you would
And-
just go through these guys and
Yes, and after that I have such opportunities like to start chatting, write letter, or send him a gift,
mhm.
or print his profile. So if I would like to send a letter, I click send letter. So this is the form. Here you see the name of the girl, name of the guy, and here we'll put letter.
So we've also heard that most girls, translators, because again, it's about making money. They have almost like templated introduction letters, templated letters for all of the girls that they represent, and they just copy paste over and
Yes.
over and over and send as many letters as they possibly can, because the idea is to get as many men to respond, because that's when the money starts getting made, right?
Right.
So,
And then I put here my letter, and also can send a photo.
like
Here,
an
right.
attachment, a photo.
Yes, the name of the photo and photo by itself,
Uh-huh.
and send.
Gotcha. Okay.
And here, like it's her mailbox. It's only. It's not very popular. But she got only 3 letters.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, here you also can find the automatical like online translator,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't work. Because I don't remember when it was working, honestly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's supposed to have a built-in translation
Yes.
from English to
like,
Russian.
yes, like for girls who doesn't know English.
Uh-huh. But it never works.
Yeah.
But so that's, I mean, the majority, or I would say all translators that are working for these agencies speak English because they're having to translate all of these letters and
No,
write back and
translators, yeah, of
forth,
course.
right? Right. So, Cedar Rapids, USA. Okay. So anything else you'd like to show us?
Here, no, chat letters. Like, if you wish, you can ask something on their website. I can tell you. There's nothing more interesting.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's really it. I think in future videos we're going to show you some of the other websites, some of the other really big websites, how they do it. It's all going to be fairly similar, but yeah, I think that's it. So Natasha, thank you very much for your time. And again, can you tell us how long have you actually? I think you already said, but how long have you been in this industry doing this?
It's nearly 5 years.
Nearly 5 years in the marriage letter writing industry, I guess you could say.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.